Hi guys, welcome back to Gear Facts. Just a warning from the beginning, this experiment is about the connection of a Korg Triton Taktile with an old Yamaha DJX, and I'm going to tell you now, this experiment was a big failure. So if you don't want to waste 6 or 7 minutes of your time, please move on to another Gear Facts video. But if you're interested in resolving MIDI problems, or if you've got any interest in either of these instruments, I think it's worth watching, but don't expect any miracles. Today we've got the Korg Triton Taktile. It's going to be controlling the old Yamaha DJX. The Taktile, of course, offers some very high-end and very dynamic control systems that the DJX does not have on its own. So what I'm hoping is that the sounds in the DJX, which are pretty good but very old school, will come to life when controlled by the Korg Triton Taktile. Let's give it a go. Okay, so having plugged in direct with MIDI, I'm finding that the trackpad isn't giving us the cutoff and resonance that I was hoping. And neither are the dials, unfortunately. Wheel controllers are working fine. Let's try some different sounds. Okay, so with a slow attack sound like that, let's see if changing the attack changes anything. No, signals from these dials clearly aren't getting through to the DJX at all. Down here we've got our control buttons that take us to the different categories of sound, so let's see if that tracks us through the system in any way. Okay, well it does change things, but the categories here seem to have no resemblance at all to what the DJX is actually giving us. Maybe that's just an intergenerational thing, I don't know, but anyway, let's... Where were the bass sounds? Okay, there we go. It's interesting to note that if I go to cutoff and resonance on the DJX, they also don't work. So this keyboard's obviously overridden the controls of that keyboard, and yet it won't send the signals from itself to control cutoff and resonance and other controls on the DJX. Why that would be, I don't know. If you've got any comments or thoughts about that, please message me because I'd be very interested to know. Let's try the arpeggiator. If we go across one to the right using the left-right controllers here, we can choose from a range of arpeggio patterns too. Okay, so now let's synchronize an arpeggio and a rhythm and see how that sounds. Okay, so synchronizations, no problems. These work really well. But I've got no control whatsoever in anything here. Very limited and random control there. The typical controls here, I can't seem to raise that to a whole octave of pitch shift either. Can't seem to make any changes on board in relation to the pitch bend. Pads are all working fine, as I said. The voice selection thing is very random too. It's nice and easy to operate, but the sounds or descriptions that I'm seeing here seem to have virtually no resemblance to what I'm getting out of an earlier MIDI instrument. I'm going to reset everything now. Hopefully we'll have the Yamaha working a little bit more independently, just being controlled with arpeggios and so forth from the Korg. What I want to be able to achieve though is operating the effects and cutoff resonance and other controls on board the Yamaha while it's being controlled by the Korg. Let's see if we have any success doing that. Okay, so rather than bore you all with the button pressing and menu searching that I've just done for the last 5 minutes, I'll cut to the chase. The best I can get is control from the Korg Taktile for the voice that it chooses with no sending of effects from its front panel. Within the same setting, I've got the DJX doing its own thing with its voice. And we've still got our onboard effects. So really that degree of relationship between the two of them isn't terribly useful because of course if you've got the Triton version of the Taktile as I have here, it's got onboard sounds of its own anyway. What I was really hoping is that we could use the Chaos pad in the center here to control the Yamaha, and I was hoping that some of these settings here could quickly access things that are actually very difficult to generate in the Yamaha. It turns out all of that has been a failure though, and I'm not criticizing either instrument, they're both brilliant in their own right, but sometimes old school and new school just do not get along. Thanks for liking, commenting or subscribing guys, particularly with the comments, because I'd be very interested to hear if any of you guys have got any ideas about how these two could talk to each other a little bit more freely. Big failure there guys, thanks for watching Gear Facts, hope you didn't hate that video too much. See you next time.